Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Animaking 3. And today I'm going to be giving you part 14 of What If Naruto Was a Genius Experimenter. Remember to get this one to 100 like as usual. Share this to all of your friends in your social media platform. And also guys, go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto Was Neglected with Joker personality over an Anime King, and enjoy that guys. And remember, if you're new, yes, I indeed have 3 channels. Anime King, Anime King 2, and Making 3. Which I post What If on every single day. Yes, you heard that correctly. Every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead, click that red subscribe button and become part of the Making family. And thank you for all of your help and your support. And also guys, I post a brand new series, What If Godlike Naruto went to the Marvel Universe. So go ahead and check out that and enjoy guys over in Anime King 2. Link will be down in the description, so go ahead and check it out guys. And yeah, without further ado, what do you say we jump into this new episode? Start the intro. So the last time we left off, in your weakest moments, Naruto had corrupted his way into Guren's heart, mind and soul, as she was now fully dedicated to his side and his cause. As she needed to be stronger, so Naruto performed the same treatment on her like he performed Uncle, however, in a different way. After all, the sage was known for his eyes and not to mention his physical body, as Naruto was helping Guren in that regard. With that, the world was tense because almost all of the nations knew that Konoha and Kumo were going to go to war because of the recent scheme between the both of them. However, because of certain circumstances, they were not yet through in the first punch. Tsunade was having some deep discussions with her council and with Jiraiya as well, as they talk about how to play this. While that was going on though, the Akatsuki was making a move, as their services were hired by Kumo. Because of the nations unaware that they were going after the Bijous, they still took them for a mercenary village. They wanted the Akatsuki to wipe away all of the outposts that surrounded Konoha, which was gathering envoys. It was a sign of force to show that Kumo was stronger. Pain spoke to Deidara and Sasuke, no, the entire group as well, about someone out there that they believe that he is sabotaging the goals. Several tailed beasts were missing at the moment, and they didn't think that it was a coincidence. The beasts have gotten smarter and started to hide. They didn't think that was the case. Something was definitely wrong, and they need to fix that before whoever this was get a better handle of what he was doing. However, whoever this was, it was a problem. So with that, Sasuke and Deidara were sent towards Konoha. Meanwhile, Uncle was feeling remarkable. With the eyes granted to her, the Rinnegan and the Byakugan, she felt untouchable. She felt like a god. However, to see the amount of power that Naruto was willing to give her, what exactly will he do to himself? As she had no idea about that. Sasuke was still in charge of the sound at the moment. He was able to keep the information leaking to a minimum, as no one was able to leak information on his behalf. He was able to kill all of the ones that tried to oppose him over the past few weeks. As he wouldn't let any of them stand, he had already warned them, and if they go against him, they got no second chances. Only thing they got was pure death and pain and suffering. Nothing, no questioning, nothing else. Meanwhile that was going on, Deidara and Sasuke were heading towards the location until they were stopped when a missile hit the bird, forced them to land on the ground. Anko went straight after Deidara as he tried to fly away, as the both of them started to clash. As for Naruto, he took on Sasuke. Sasuke found himself facing off against this individual who revealed himself to be the one that is hunting the Akatsuki members, and the tail beast as well. It seems that their leader was right, but Sasuke was rather confused that he wasn't able to find this out after all. He was one of the spy network and yet he knew nothing about this, and that kind of angered him, yes, very much. However, he put that aside as he started to fight Naruto. Upon facing off against Naruto, he was forced to bring out his third Kazekage puppet. as Naruto proceeded to destroy everything in his path, making his way towards Sasuke, who stabbed him right through the chest with a cable through his own. Sasuke thought it was over, however, Naruto used Fuin Jutsu along with his blood to freeze up the body of Sasuke, causing the man's body to shut down on him. Sometime later, Anko returned as she was carrying the limp body of Deidara, already extracting the information out of his head with her gun, as she was getting better at controlling it. As Naruto sat left a little present for the Akatsuki. When Zetsu arrived, what he found was the remains of Deidara and Sasuke, as both men were long dead. He reported this to the leader, who was furious. He refused to believe that Konoha was behind this. Konoha ninjas were strong, but Deidara and Sasuke had the advantage, and plus Deidara had the flight, so if things got tough, they could have gotten out of there, as he didn't know who was behind this. However, it seems like it was a person that he believed, the person Masked Man believed actually. At first he thought the Masked Man was just hallucinating, but it seems someone was really out there causing problems, and he was gonna find out who this was, and kill them himself. Itachi was also wondering about his brother, but he kept quiet about that regard. However, this new information was spiraling out of control, not to mention Konoha was once again in a war. Itachi was still loyal to the Hidden Leaf despite the things that he has done, and he wanted to make sure his home was safe. As Guren and Anko finally met when Guren had woken up, Guren was baffled by the amount of power she felt and how strong her body was. She never thought that she could feel this powerful. However, the more submerged she went, the more loyal she started to become to Naruto. As she spoke to Anko, the girls not really getting along so first. However, they had one thing in common, the both of them were obedient and loyal, and they care for Naruto as well. And that was the thing holding them together. Some time passes, Raikage had to send out Yugito. Usually he would not send out a Jinchuriki so close to war, however, because of the person. The Raikage wanted the business of the Oda family, and Arashi came here, as he had some business talk with them nearby minor country, and he was the one that asked for her personally. So the Raikage sent her out with extra precautions, not thinking that Konoha would dare make a move up in these areas. After all, they would be slaughtered where they stand, because they were close to their perimeters, and it wouldn't be long for them to leave this area before they were caught by the Kumo ninjas. However, as Amoy, Karu, and all of them were in the hotel, the entire place started lit up with explosions, forcing them all to flee from the village that they were in. The meeting had went so well and they were staying for the night to head out tomorrow morning. However, as they came out, Yugito was coughing as she collapsed to her knees, a strange seal over her body that Amoy couldn't really understand, not even Darue. None of them could. As they saw, Arashi came out before something ripped through his back, tearing through his chest. Their eyes went wide as they watched a client got killed instantly, as the explosion went off, swallowing him and Yugito. As several things started to emerge, people emerged from the bushes. He told the remaining team to run as he activated his black light and then shot it forward. The others fleeing for their life, knowing that they had to report this immediately. The leader of the village watched all of the building went up in smoke. There was no other people in there. Earlier, he was given a large sum of money, as he had 2 goals in this endeavor. He was to allow the building to go up in smokes, and when Kumo ninjas came by searching for evidence, he should tell them that he saw a few ninjas with the Konoha symbol around here earlier. However, he thought they were just passing through. He didn't even know what he was doing, but the money that was given to him was too much for him to decline. Sometime later, Yugito woke up, as she was confused. That is when she saw Arashi and her eyes went wide, as she growled in anger. "You," she said in rage. So yeah guys, basically that's where we left off. You guys can switch across the place of yourself. And what do you say we jump into this new episode, guys? Begin now. It was a simple mission. A rather calm, simple mission. She knew that the Raikage was reluctant at first. However, Arashi had asked for her. The Nibi was teasing her constantly about Arashi asking for her, saying that he had a thing for her. Yugito was never really about that emotion things that much. However, there was a few guys that she liked in the past, but none of them proved to be someone right for her. The time went on. However, she started to acquire feelings for Arashi, so much so that she qualified herself to be the one to protect him by remaining in the room. The others were snickering. Even Darui seemed to caught on to what was going on, as the others seemed to be happy for her though. Happy that she was getting along with someone, as Arashi seemed to be a nice guy. So here she was in the room with him. He was smiling at her the entire time, as she was looking away, not facing him as she would blush if she do. He walked over as he placed a hand right on her hand, as that caught her off guard. We can't, she said. This is a mission. We can't what? He said. Her face blushed even more. Was she jumping into conclusion? I'm just kidding, he said. I know that you must have noticed by now after all. I personally asked for you in this mission, but I'm starting to develop feelings for you, he said. His tone was sweet as usual. I know that it will be difficult after all. I'm not exactly someone that can protect themselves. And I'm worried, he said, looking down. About what? She said. I've heard, I have contacts, about the simmering anger between Kumo and Konoha. And I'm worried for your safety. You were there as well, when we found that girl dying. I believe they will come after you, thinking that you were the one that killed her. I don't want anything to happen to you. She gave him a smile. As much as I appreciate you worrying, I'm one of the strongest kunoichi within Kumo, not to mention, I have my friends to back me up. And about the other things, she said. I'm just gonna be blunt, I like you as well, she said. As she was not facing his eyes. However, we can't do this now. After this whole thing is over. Although, in this life, you can't really make too much promises. Yeah, that is what I'm worried about, said Naruto. I wish I could offer more help, do something else to help you. You've done enough, she said with a smile. All you can do now is relax, and wait for us to settle this whole thing. Once it is over, perhaps then we can start something, said Naruto, finishing for her. Yeah, she said, still not facing his eyes, as he placed a hand and caressed her cheek, as she found herself leaning into it. Screw the mission parameters, kitten. You need to rip his pants off right now and take him. Come on, you know you want to. And he wants you as well, I can feel it. As Yugito tried to deny what the neighbor was saying, however, she found herself getting drawn in, until he raised his head and placed it right at her ear. It was then that she felt it. A shiver went down her spine. Kitten, run, said Nibi. The Nibi could feel it the moment it changed. Something dark, decrepit, festering inside of him. Whatever just happened was not normal. You let your guard down, he whispered in her ear, before he slammed his hand in her stomach, covering her mouth. Yugito tried to protest, tried to fight back, however, she felt her strength leave her immediately. The connection with the Nibi was cut off as a seal burned in her stomach as he gripped her mouth so tightly. She was shocked as she could not push him off no matter how hard she tried. It was then that he went through one-handed seals as he proceeded to slam his hand on a nearby wall. A circular formula came as several poof came out. It was then that the building started to shake as her eyes went wide. And that is what happened. Now she found herself strapped to a table. You bastard! What have you done? Why are you doing this? She said. You thought wrong, he said as he made his way towards her. He slowly trailed his hand down her face. She spat at him. However, he moved out of the way as he wiggled his hand in front of her face. Don't be so angry, he said. Your death will serve a great cause. She glared at him as she tried to break her binds. Struggle as you might, you cannot move. You're gonna pay for this. The entire Kumo force will come after you, and they will take care of you. There is nowhere that you can hide. You should know, I'm rather special that I never told you. I'm a Jinjulke. He burst out laughing, causing to spread confusion over her face. You think I didn't know that? Oh, you thought this was a coincidence? He moved forward as his face was inches away from hers, frightening her a bit. You're wrong, dear, he said. You see, I was the one that chose you. You were nothing but a pawn in a larger scheme of things. A tool to be used and discarded. A weapon. Just like me, he said. She raised her eyebrow as he lifted his shirt up. It was then that she saw a complex seal appear in his stomach, you see. We're just alike. I'm nothing like you. But we are, he said in a Jinjuki remark. However, other than that, not really. But don't worry. I will end your suffering. But you will still be the one to bring the beginning of this fun time, he said. She narrowed her gaze at that, not understanding what he meant by that. As he reached and laid a kiss on her forehead, she tried to bite him and spit on him some more, but he pulled back. Now go to sleep, he said. There's much work to be done. She tried to keep her eyes open, however, she felt her body literally shutting down. No, I can't. Damn it, she screamed as she sunk one of her fingernails right in her palm, trying to keep herself awake by pain. However, she passed out, the seals glowing intensely on her body, driving her into unconsciousness. She woke up sometime later. She wasn't sure where she was as her senses were finally kicking back in. However, she knew that she was in pain. It wasn't as bad as she thought. She was afraid to open her eyes, afraid to see what he did to her. She felt mortified, she felt humiliated, she felt pathetic. All along he was a spy. He was the one that did this to her. Her comrades were probably even unaware of this, as the whole place went up in explosions. Damn it, she cursed in her mind. How can she be fooled like that? She trained her entire life to be a proper kunoichi. Falling for someone that easily, trusting in someone, allowing him to come so close, and she dropped her entire guard. What if he was behind this, she thought? What if he was the one that set Kumo and Konoha up? He was clearly deranged and sick and twisted. Damn it, she need to warn people, she need to tell them about what is going on. As she slowly opened her eyes, she realized that she was moving, as she was in some sort of carriage. Slowly looking around, she realized yes, she was. She was chained down and her mouth was gagged. She was alone. There was no one else in there. However, she heard someone on the outside. They were speaking. She wasn't sure what was going on or where she was. However, what she saw was opportunity. There was a small nail that was protruding from the inside. Slowly reaching up, she hooked the chain onto it. She bit down hard on her lip as she proceeded to yank, hoping that it would provide enough stability. As she dislocated her big thumb, as she bent her hands in rather gruesome's way to pull her hand out of the chain that wrapped her on her wrists, as she felt her flesh being peeled off with it as well. However, she could not scream or alert the others as she was awake. Looking over, she proceeded to do the same thing. However, there was a small leverage over there. However, it was bored, so she was not sure if it would work. But she ended up hooking it same way. As she was able to pull her hand out, both hands were quite bloody. However, she would survive. Pulling herself up, she felt a jolt of pain, but she couldn't say a single word. As she proceeded to look towards her legs, her legs were unbound. Now that was strange, she thought to herself. She lifted her shirt up. As she parted it to see a giant seal on her chest, running down towards her stomach, a suppression seal, she realized. As she could barely feel her chakra, she only had enough for an average genin. And that was not enough for her, but she still had to use it. It was the only thing she had available at the moment. Slowly creeping towards the side, she heard voices on the outside. They were talking, but she could barely make it out. However, she did notice that it was morning though. It was broad daylight. Slowly making her way, she realized that the front was not locked. It seems like they believed that she would be trapped in here and wouldn't wake up for a while. She was clinging on to the hope that whoever was out there was not strong enough. After all, she could barely sense anything. She couldn't tell how strong they were. However, there was a chance of getting out of this alive and unnoticed. As she looked down towards the board of the carriage was not kept in proper shape. She slowly reached down as she reached underneath the latch, and she started to slowly pull. It started to creep back as she bit her lip in anticipation, hoping that they did not hear a single sound. However, they kept on talking. She slowly peeled the others back as slowly as she could, knowing that she might not have enough time. As she set them apart, there was a hole in the carriage now. Damn it, she had to time this perfectly, otherwise she would mess up and this would be bad. She took a deep breath as she prepared herself. She then jumped right through and rolled. The moment she did, she looked around, her eyes surveying everything. She threw herself like a piece of log. With as much strength as possible as she rolled on the side of a hill. Lucky enough it was grass as she rolled along it. She stabbed her hand into the ground, holding on. She held her breath, unmoving, unblinking as she heard the carriage went ahead. She breathed a sigh of relief as she stood there for about a minute. Slowly but surely pulling herself up, she realized she was in the mountain range. After all, there was no time for him to take her body and move her so far without being hounded by Kumo patrols, so he hid her somewhere close. She could barely feel anything and her chakra felt out of whack. She started to hobble on her feet, her two hands at her side. She was feeling immense pain in her hand after just holding on to this strawberry to keep herself up a moment ago. Her legs had been dug into the hillside, but her hand had been supporting most of her weight as well. She would need extensive surgery on them. Otherwise, there was a chance of them not working properly again because she could no longer feel much movements in them. Damn it, she ran as fast as possible as she was able to map out her area. She was not far off. She just had to get to one of the Anvu patrols. She just had to get there. She ran, even as her legs were telling her to stop. Even as her mind was screaming at her to give up, she ran. As she felt a sudden jolt of determination, unaware that wasn't just determination. She moved, moving as fast as possible. Her body felt so light. With the chakra suppression, she could not feel any of it. It was almost like she was no longer a Jinjulki anymore. But she needed to get this seal off her and she needed to heal up so that she could make that bastard pay. She arrived towards one of the nearby outposts as she collapsed. Immediately, several ninjas surrounded her. She looked up with a grateful smile as she saw their masses. It was the Bolt Force. That was what Kumo called their envoys, the Bolts. They looked over her. She started to cough up blood. Her hands were bleeding rather badly as Yugito felt blood rush her throat as she coughed it up. "I need help," she rasped out. The medical ninja that was there wasn't prepared to deal with any internal wounds, as their medical ninjutsu was not that advanced. They had to get her back to the village immediately as they made a course. The largest member of the group holding her tight as Yugito hold on to him for life support. At the village hidden within the clouds, several ninjas were patrolling the area as they didn't have to stop because the remaining envoys remained behind to inform them what is going on. As they brought Yugito in, they need to get her to the hospital immediately. It seems like she escaped her pursuers and she was in bad condition. They sent word to the Raikage. He overheard this as he quickly jumped out of his seat, quickly rushing down the hill as fast as possible to see if Yugito was going to be okay. When he heard about the news, it had pissed him off severely, not even about her kidnapping alone. As a team had been sent early out, and the leader of that small little coastal village had told him that he saw a few Konoha ninjas moving on in the day. There was no doubt that they were behind this doorway, had came back severely wounded, and they had rushed into the hospital. He was gonna live, but he was gonna spend some time in the hospital. He was messed up pretty badly. And Yugito was taken, the Raikage was fuming. He was ready to send his forces towards Konoha immediately to make them pay. But he had to think like a Kage and not rush into something like this. Konoha was tricky, unpredictable, and he thought that he would never see Yugito again, given what she contained, but to his surprise, here she was. His fast eyes picked up the ninjas. As Yugito was not the only one, it turns out that Arashi was also dead. Those bastard Konoha ninjas. His sister probably hadn't overheard the news yet. He didn't even know what she would think when she overheard the news if she would continue to support in this project. When people are in grief, sometimes they just forget about everything and decide to make a fresh start. That was something that he couldn't afford at the time. As his eyes focused on the Kumo ninjas, as he saw them moving, as he wondered how Yugito was able to escape. Darui, he could understand, because they were just trying to make him flee so that he could take the Jinchuriki. But Yugito, she was a Jinchuriki. However, he could already see her being carried as they were moving through the village, moving on the steep mountain tops, as they were going towards the hospital. The Raikage felt something was wrong though. He couldn't put his finger on it, but something felt... Boom! A colossal explosion went off. It was like a bomb. Bodies were thrown in pieces. Mountain tops were obliterated, debris falling down, causing chaos. The trigger explosion dropped several mountains, collapsing on hundreds of buildings around the vicinity, seeing that they were moving towards the hospital. The force of the explosion even forced Raikage to jump back. Buildings were being neutralized, eviscerated by the blast. The man slammed his hand into the earth as he picked up a large piece of the street and threw it. It smashed into a gigantic debris, breaking it apart. The Raikage stood there as lightning caked his entire body. Wind and debris and stone flashed around as they were torn apart by his lightning. The man's eyes were sparkling in rage, anger as he watched a gaping crater was left in the center of his village. Pure chaos and screams could be heard as he stood there, rage on his face as his lightning started to surge to new degrees. He knew something was wrong. How did she escape? Darui's situation was different than she. She was captured by the enemy. She was a tail beast. A Jinchuriki. There was no way that they would let her escape. It was all a trick. Using seals, probably. They placed those damn seals to use her as a literal bomb. And they knew that she would be brought in because of her severe wounds that could not be treated outside. Damn it, he shouted in rage. A far distance off, Naruto's keen eyes locked in on the whole thing, as he started to chuckle to himself, finding the whole thing rather amusing. The Raikage was truly, utterly angry. Finally, after all, he wanted to send some chaos, so that people could realize that they were in a damn war, not some playtime. He saw the Raikage stomp off. The man was pissed. Really so. As Naruto's smirk seemed to increase at that, he was happy. Finally, they were going to begin. He would think the same thing as I'm thinking right now, Naruto thought to himself. Konoha had took the tail beast out of her, then used her as a, bomb to destroy his village. Well, that was true, but not about the Konoha part. He did take the Nibi out of her, leaving some of the chakra to make sure her coils were stable, using the seal to keep her, awake. And also, when she arrived at the village, it started to hurt her insides, causing her to bleed internally. And then, the result was the explosion. The remaining Nibi chakra was used to charge the explosive. After all, Naruto has been studying seal for years. That is why it was so grand and massive. Although he didn't want to kill the Raikage because he needed the man for now. After all, he was a driving force behind this war. The violent type, the chaotic type. As Naruto quickly moved off, making his way towards the bottom of the mountain when, Naruto was surprised as something caught him off guard. Something that he didn't really expect. Damn it, he thought to himself. I was correct. It seems that scouting out the villages was a good move. After all, I know that you would not step foot inside the village. As Naruto was severely pissed off, he was caught. This had never happened to him before. And furthermore, the person caught him was not someone that he expected. As Naruto slowly looked up, and the man came face to face with him. Because of the experiment with most of Naruto here turning white. However, he still had one key feature. That was the whisker marks on his face. And not to mention this man was there when Naruto was a child. So seeing those marks and seeing that blonde hair, it shocked him. This was not what he was expecting, as Naruto came face to face with the masked man. However, Naruto was caught off guard here, not expecting this. The man was not expecting this either. To think, the one has been causing all of this is the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki, if I'm not mistaken. That is you, correct? As Naruto said nothing on that. However, he did ask, who are you? That is on a need-to-know basis. Well, considering that you're wearing the Akatsuki clothing, you are a member, correct? Well, it's a given that you know about your organizations after all. You did kill 2 members recently. Naruto's face gave away nothing. The masked man started to chuckle. Of all the people to expect, someone that has been pronounced dead. You're a rather shocking sight to see here, you know that, right? I have no mistake now in this. You're the one behind this. You are the one that has been targeting your own village. After all, it wasn't good to be raised in Konoha as a Jinchuriki. However, I wonder though, why are you going after the tail beasts? Who said I was? Don't lie to me, child. You are. There's no reason to try to hide that right now. I know what you're up to. I might not know the full key details, but I know. You're the one behind the scenes. All this time I thought that I was going crazy, but here you are. Ripe for the picking and for the taking. Tell me, what have you done with the other tail beasts? I have no idea what you're talking about, said Naruto. I suppose you will be quiet about it after all. I suppose all of your life you believe. Once you reach this level of, what can I say? Preparing for your plans. You believe that you will never be found. However, you got on my radar, and I finally found you. And you won't be leaving here until you tell me where, or the other tail beasts. As much as I would love to stay and chat. Whoever you are, go and screw yourself, said Naruto as he slammed his hand in his chest. The masked man rushed towards him, but Naruto poofed away. Damn it, he cursed. As the place was now empty, there was no mistaking it. He held that child in his arms when he was a baby. That blonde hair, those whisker marks. There was no doubt it was him. Not to mention Kisame and Itachi had brought in his description last time they went after him. But they came back and said he was a fool and he was weak as well. Perhaps he was playing them the entire time. After all, the Order reached a step far in his plans to be out here causing chaos. He must have planned this from a long time ago. Obito had no doubt that he was the one that was responsible for what is going on down there. It couldn't be that of a coincidence, right? Of course not. This child had been playing them for a fool. However, no longer will he play them for a fool. He will hand over the other tail beasts. And in the end, he will rip the 9 tails from his body. He didn't know how he faked his death or how he did any of this, if he was indeed the one behind it, but he will find out more. Time skip. Naruto was pissed off. He had planned always perfectly, but yet here he was gotten caught off guard. He hadn't even feel the guy, he just appeared out of nowhere. He didn't understand. Where did he come from? It made no sense. There was no teleportation, he just appeared. Some space-time ninjutsu probably? One that did not give off any sense of chakra at all. Naruto's senses were heightened to the extreme level and yet he felt nothing at all. The guy was able to just appear like that. And also being a member of the Akatsuki. How big was he in the ranks? Never before he heard Orochimaru or Kabuto talk about him. Who the hell was he? Wearing an orange mask. Just what the hell was going on? Someone now knew about him. He didn't know what that man was gonna do with that information. He knew that the Akatsuki was after the tail beasts and now they knew what he was after and now they knew his goddamn identity. Naruto's fist cracked into the wall, shattering the thing. He was always perfect, always prepared, and now he was caught like a lamb to a slaughter. Damn it! He raged in anger. Time skip. Guren and Uncle was speaking to one another until they felt it. Everyone in the base felt it. An overwhelming crushing force that just descended upon them. Uncle knew that these eyes gave her great power, however, this intent was so powerful that it caused her to tremble. As they felt it, the both of them made their way towards the locations they found. It was Naruto who finally arrived. As the girls came in, "What's wrong?" said Guren. "Yeah, what's up?" Uncle asked. The intent slowly faded away. As he took a calming breath, he was still not happy about the situation. "You two are getting along," he said. "At first, no, but she's not as bad as I thought," Uncle said. "But, on the other hand, what happened? Why are you so angry?" "Seems like we'll have to speed up the plan. Some things happen have recently been found out." "By who?" asked Guren. "An Akatsuki member." "Wait, he knew you?" "He saw my description fully. I have no idea where he came from, he just appeared. That is quite troubling if I was unable to sense him. It seems I need to progress. Faster than I expected." "So you're going to do that thing as well," Uncle said. "So we're going to be the ones left to watch over you." "Why do you sound so odd about it?" said Naruto. "Well, you're going to go beyond what you did to us. And we've been talking and we're just worried that you might go a bit overboard and something bad's gonna happen." As Naruto walked over, he placed a hand on both of their shoulders. "I'm happy that the both of you are so concerned for me. But I planned for this and prepared for this for a long while. Trust me, everything will be fine." The both of them felt reassured by that. Meanwhile, that was going on. Sasuke Uchiha was sitting down on his throne. So far, everything was working well. So well that he was even thinking about reviving his clan. A few Akatsuki members were spotted recently. However, it was not his brother. Sasuke told his group to continue with their search, as he used his own 4 members and gave them all a squadron to search for the Akatsuki members. If they found the location, he gave them a scroll, which they would use his snake contacts to contact him, and he will be brought to the era once they reverse summon him there. So Sasuke was ready, conserving his chakra. He already had a few people that he wanted to bring. The Akatsuki never brought themselves by one person before, they always work in pairs. He had recently gave Suigetsu 2 well-crafted Kodakai out of Orochimaru reserves of weapons. 2 indeed special blades that fit well with his style of fighting. Karen was stuck to his side like glue. As the girl was infatuated with him, she had a rare special blood, and she would do whatever he says. He think of her as a worthy, person to carry his child when he was going to revive the Uchiha clan. So he was going to keep her close. The rest of them had fallen in line, even Kabuto was being more respectful. The Stone Four was following their orders without a second guess. He knew that they must have other things on their mind when they thought about him and the situation, but it did not matter though. He just wanted to make sure that they stay in line. Once they did that, there was nothing to worry about, nothing at all. So with that, Sasuke prepared himself, constantly conserving his chakra, knowing that the time will come when he was going to go up against Itachi and finally kill that bastard for what he did. The time will be here soon, and Itachi will die, he thought to himself. Time skip. So he was able to leave before you could catch him. Yes. He reverse summoned himself using some strange seal. I'm not entirely sure where he went, however. If it took us years to find out that he was behind this, if it took us so long to make us realize that someone else was sabotaging our goals, him going back into hiding is not something I like too much. I'm afraid that we will be unable to find him, said the masked man as he looked towards Pain. Speaking to Tendo, Conan stood there as well. So what do you suggest that we do, she asks. Well, I have a plan, he said. The reason why he's so hard to find is because he's dead. But I thought you said, no, you don't understand what I'm saying. The world think that he's dead. So there's no one, absolutely no one searching for him. As a smirk came on, the masked man faced under the mask. This is an opportunity for us to expose him to the world. With Zetsu, we can use them to send information all over. Start the rumors small until they merge into something that is uncontrollable. I have no doubt that Konoha will hatch onto this as soon as possible. But not just them. With Kumo going against Konoha, they will no doubt try to find him as well to capture Konoha Jinchuriki. Zetsu brought me back some devastating reports. We've lost another Jinjulke, the Two Tails. What? Why wasn't I informed about this? Said Pain. I'm telling you no, aren't I? Besides, I just found out. However, I believe that he was behind the attack. Do you truly believe that he was the mastermind behind all of this? Are you saying that he was the one starting this war as well? Asked Conan. Yes, I believe that 100%. I've watched with my own eyes as he watched. I have no doubt how he was able to see from that location, but he went through a single hand sign. An explosion then followed that left a gigantic hole in Kumo, killing a lot in the process as he laughed. Whoever the person he was before, I believe it was all just an act, a ruse to hide his true intentions. Unfortunately, we cannot pull him to our side because he has something that we need. If he stays in hiding for too long, I have no idea what he's doing, and I do not want him to hide away for so long with the tail beasts. I have no doubt that he already extracted Two Tails from that child, not allowing her to go back in the village with the Two Tails and killing her. For what? I have no idea, or not knowing how he was able to get his hands on other tail beasts, but a part of me truly believes that he was the one behind this, behind it all. That is why I intend to expose him to the world. In doing so, he will have to be on the constant move, and he will make us slip up, and it will be much easier for us to find him. Well, given the current situation of the Akatsuki, I believe that is our only option right now. If we don't do this, we will have to wait until he emerges, and we don't know how long that will take. So all we can do now is go along with this plan and see the effects that follow. That's exactly what I thought. I will begin the preparations, said Obito as he left, in a swirling vortex. Conan had a frown in her face. What's wrong? If this is true, if he is gone for this long, what exactly has he been doing? How stronger has he gotten? There must be some reason why he has been doing this, plotting. Well, you and I both know that Jinjulkis were never treated nicely in any village in the beginning. Yes, you're right about that. Is this some revenge scheme to bring the end of Konoha? That could be a possibility. However, he is going after the other nations and their tail beasts. He is actively starting a war. He is killing for an unknown goal. I don't believe he seeks peace. I believe he just wants chaos. And someone like that cannot be allowed to live with our profession going on. He has to be eliminated. I agree, said Conan. Time skip. The news about the recent attack on the Kumo ninjas at the small coastal village. And not to mention there has been rumors going around that Konoha was responsible for this. Tsunade sat in her office. She knew that she never authorized such an order, and that the village was not responsible. She didn't know what Kumo was trying. If they were trying to make it seem like Konoha was the dirty one, making the first move. However, she already had her bases secured. Hachigakure was a village that was allied to Konoha along with the hidden grass as well. A part of Tsunade was angry that Danzo Shamir was not here. Yes, it was ridiculous that she was saying that, given how much she detests the man. However, as much as she hated him, he was someone that loved Konoha unconditionally, and not to mention, he had the mindset to plot, and he's been through many wars before. The other two elders, while they've been the same, however, Danzo had a more brilliant mind than them. She didn't know where the man was. He was probably dead. After all, he was gone for years now. She didn't know what was going on there. However, she had made sure to send a brigade of her ninjas towards Hachigakure. That was one of the paths that Kumo could use to overtake them. And the land of grass as well. She was blocking all of her allies off. The sand was with them 100%. After all, they were their allies. She called upon some of their more smaller allies. In these times, they need to gather supplies to make sure they were well prepared and stocked. There was no idea how long this war will drag out for. However, Tsunade had several things that she was planning. She had, some time ago, spoken to Kakashi Hatake and had him start a small division of ninjas that were set for specific tasks espionage, attacks, assassinations. Root ninjas were the ones that were used for things like that in the past, especially in the time of war. That is why she got Kakashi to train a group of excellent ninjas, to do the underhanded deeds that this was necessary for this war. She had Jiraiya out there, preparing several brigades as well, showing that the strength was not lost, as Sanin was out there as well, watching their backs, so that the other nation should know that she was not taking this lightly and she was not going to stop until Kumo submit. The stone was being quiet, but she knew. She knew that whatever Onki saw, whatever weakness he saw in this match, he would use it to his advantage. If Konoha resembled himself as weak, they will be seen as weak through the elemental nation, and that can be a huge backfire. So she had to make sure that all of her ends were covered, and that she was fully prepared for this war. She had to make sure that everything was fine first before they even decided to engage with them. However, it seems like it was going to start sooner than later. Time skip. Jiraiya came in the office sometime later as she was going through some files about several areas that need reinforcements, as the man looked quite disheveled. "Jiraiya, what's wrong?" she said, as he was supposed to return tomorrow. "Seen him here early. Something was wrong." "What is it?" she asked. "It's my spies. I've gathered some information that's rather strange." "What do you mean?" "Information regarding Naruto." Tsunade's eyes narrowed at that. "What are you talking about?" "Naruto died over 3 years ago." "That's the weird part. There has been recent sightings of someone matching his exact descriptions. There hasn't been much more yet." Tsunade looked at him. "I'm not buying this. Perhaps this is Kumo. How would it be them? They never knew that he was a Jinchuriki. And why would they start these rumors? It made no sense." "I know, but..." Tsunade didn't know what to say. "He died, Jiraiya. We search. There was nothing. You can't let this get your hopes up, only to disappoint them a second later." "I know that, but..." "Jiraiya," she said, "we're in the middle of a war. I don't know what the hell is going on or who is trying to take us for a fool, but we cannot allow them to do that. Do you understand me?" she said. Her tone was serious. Jiraiya took a breath. "You're right," he said. He knew that she was right. She was telling the truth after all. Jumping to conclusions and starting a new search that would just cause them false hope, would be a waste of time. "What have you brought me?" He was still going to have his spies look into it. However, Tsunade was trying to block with that piece of information. Sometimes information can be wrong. And especially at a time like this, she didn't want to know that she had just abandoned the search and he was still out there. She didn't want to know what the hell was going on, because she needed to focus on the war. She needed to keep the village alive. She needed to. Damn it, but why was her mind weighing already as soon as he told her that? As she bit her lip. Time skip. The Raikage was simmering in rage. He was already gathering his forces. First thing he was going to go after was Hoshigakure. The number of ninjas there were not as potent as the one in front of Land of Grass. He was going to send a strike team in. He wanted to see as much dead Konoha ninjas as possible. He lost 100 plus people in that blast. Bodies were still being identified. He was furious, pissed off. His village was calling for blood. He got some information recently about this particular player known as Naruto Uzumaki. However, he was said to be the Jinchuriki of the Nine Tails, who died a long time ago. The Raikage was stunned by this information as he wondered if this was a ploy. If Konoha faked his death and was using him and treating him like a weapon, and know they had their tail beasts, what if he was the one that took Yugito? Damn it, he started to become even more paranoid. The sister has not even arrived yet. She had been informed of her brother's death. Other than that, she hasn't said anything yet. She must be really shaken up. Her guards informed the Kumo ninjas that she had gotten the letters that the Raikage had sent. She had thanked him for informing her. However, she was not in a state to really talk to or do any business right now. She was going through a lot. It was horrible for her. Her brother was the only family she had left, and now she was totally alone. That is how she phrased it. The Raikage could not worry about that right now. He had to focus as Kumo could be subjugated to attack from the Nine Tails. He had to keep B close and ready. They had to have sealers nearby as well, even though they doubt any of their sealing could hold back the Nine Tails. But it just needed for to slow it down. However, the precautions of sealing that beast away, the seal would have to be much more powerful. That is why he had a special sealing core working on a powerful seal enough to hold back Nine Tails, but they were no Uzumaki, so it would take a while. Damn it, this was getting worse. What if Konoha really planned this ahead? But why would they do that? Maybe they wanted this in the first place. He didn't know the rumors were just fresh and still spreading across Elemental Nation about the sightings of the Nine Tails Jinchuriki. Meanwhile with Sasuke, "Sir," as a messenger bowed in front of him. "What is it?" Sasuke said. "We found some news that we believe that you would like to hear." "Well, go on," Sasuke said. "Sir, it's about Naruto Uzumaki." "I haven't heard that name in a long time." "What about him?" "Apparently, he's been seen to be alive." "What?" said Sasuke. As he got to his feet, "Yes, sir," the man said, looking down. "There's been some recent rumors about him wandering through the Elemental Nation alive. It is spreading all over. People truly believe that he's alive." "No, that's impossible," Sasuke said. "I drive my hand directly through his heart. I destroyed his heart. There is no way that he can be alive." "I don't know what to say, sir, but this is... Go and find out what the hell is going on. And don't come back until you find some solid evidence. Understand?" Sasuke said. "Yes, sir." "At once!" The man got up and left immediately. Sasuke sat down as he rubbed his forehead. Rather stressful news as he felt two arms starting to massage his shoulder. "Are you okay, Sasuke-kun?" Sasuke sighed as Karen massaged his shoulders. "Just the past popping back up," he said. "However, I refuse to believe that this is reality. Naruto is dead. He's the reason I have these eyes," Sasuke said in a low tone. But he didn't know what was going on out there though. So far the world didn't even know that Orochimaru was dead. He was keeping that on a need-to-know basis after all. He had many things to do before he started to make a move. Meanwhile that was going on, Kabuto was in a different lab, all by himself. That fool Uchiha believed that he can control him. For now he had his obedience until he was ready to strike out. Until he was ready to be the one to lead this world. As he had many plans. With the upcoming battle between Kumo and Konoha, he was gonna enjoy seeing the show. Kabuto smirked to himself. No longer would be a lapdog, no longer will he be the one that the person used. Now he will be in charge. The Sound 4 was not with Sasuke either. After what he did, it showed them that Sasuke was a ruthless dictator, even worse than Orochimaru in that regard, killing them because they, well, Orochimaru and Fu do not follow his guard, but they didn't like Sasuke at all. So once the time come to strike, he was sure that they would join his side. "Time skip, you can go now." The masked ninja left the room as Naruto leaned back. "So, he got my information and decided to spread it, huh?" As Naruto started to chuckle, find the whole thing amusing. He didn't want to start his plans yet, but he had to keep them into motion. He had no choice. This guy decided to go around telling everyone that he was alive. As Naruto sighed in annoyance, before he slowly made his way. As he arrived towards the room. Arriving there, Naruto was not wearing a shirt. As Anko looked at his body, it always got her a bit hot. Guren pretended like she was not looking, however. It was an intriguing sight. The only thing that he was wearing was black pants. In front of him was a special made laboratory. There was a tank of sorts. Inside there was a bluish water. The capsule was open so that someone could lie in it. Behind that there was three objects. one of them being a circular orb. It was the orb that Naruto found in the Sage of Six Path tomb, the one with the natural engine running through it. It was connected by a tube, as it was also in a singular vase, sort of vase. To the other left was different cells, all kinds, mixed together. They were extracted and formulated in a small pod of their own. However, they were also connected to the charge. The machine was hooked up, and over to the other side, there was a strange object that neither of the girl recognized. It was just floating in a green liquid, as it was also connected to the charge as well. Several machines. As Naruto told them the literal basics of everything, all they had to do was pull that lever once he lied down. As the process will begin, and it doesn't matter what happened, they should not try to remove him or shut it off until the process was over. They made a promise. However, they were starting to worry. Anko moved forward as she pressed her lips against his, rather tightly as Naruto pressed his against hers, as she broke away. "Please, be careful," she said. She didn't know why, but she had a gut feeling that something bad was gonna happen. Guren found herself wanting to do the same, however. Their relationship had not passed that threshold yet. However, she couldn't help herself. She walked over. "Look," she said. "I promise my loyalty to you. So make sure you come out of this alive. You promised me that you will help me get back at Sasuke for what he did, and I promise to serve you. So please, don't die," she said. "It will be alright, girl," said Naruto. 3 more of his subordinates came in, as they were all over to the side manning the machines. "Everything shall be fine. I assure you, I shall be fine. Now," he said as he got into the water. One of his subordinates clicked the button as the capsule closed down. "Please step back," said Naruto, his voice coming out a bit low because of the capsule shutting. "Anko, do it." Anko hesitated, but Guren placed a hand on hers. "He's gonna be fine." They pulled the lever down. The 3 tubes that were connected to the 3 objects started to glow. Electricity shot from one of the top beakers, a seal that released a voltage. As Naruto's body started to tremble, his eyes instantly shut as the voltage shocked him into unconsciousness, it seems. As his body started to tremble even more, the 3 things started to mesh together. The whole place started to tremble as everything was glowing. As the electricity made contact with the water and Naruto's body started to seize up, they saw as his muscles contract and release. They saw his eyes bulge. They saw his teeth grit and he was unconscious. As Anko was panicking, she moved forward as Guren grabbed her hand. He said not to. "Besides, if we stop it now, there is no telling what side effects would happen." "But, damn it, Anko said as she stood there. As she watched as Naruto was convulsing and shaking violently, the 3 objects were now completely submerged within the liquid as it turned completely black. Pitch black as Naruto's body was unable to be seen. It seems like he was drowning in the darkness as he fell. As the whole thing started to surge with electricity once more, the machine started to beam with light all over it as Anko looked towards one of the screens. She saw a red line start to go to the max before it started to swell. The machines then exploded, shocking her. "Something's wrong," she said as smoke started to come from them. She looked towards Naruto's subordinates. "What's wrong?" We don't know," one of them said. Guren cursed. "Damn it. She was afraid of this." Anko moved forward as Guren grabbed her hand. "We have to do something, let me go." "You can't. What if you..." Boom! Guren was thrown as Anko blasted her away with an almighty push. It wasn't hard to kill her just to affect her, although even a full force one wouldn't kill her right now because of what Naruto did to her as she hit the wall. As Anko reached to touch the thing, however, a violent output of energy exploded outwards, causing her and Guren to be blasted out of the lab, followed by the 3 subordinates. The machines were destroyed. The entire thing started to collapse down. As for Naruto, he found himself in a dark, decrepit place. He wasn't sure where he was, or what the hell was going on. However, he came across an area, a house. No, that was confusing. He stepped forward as he felt right to be near. As he stepped inside of said house, he heard talking upstairs. As he followed that talking, unsure what he was getting himself into right now, he just decided to follow the talking. It didn't take too long as he arrived towards the location. Arriving there, what he saw shocked him. It was a room. However, the name, Naruto's room, that it said. He never had his name on any door before, so he was not sure what this was, or what kind of game this was. He reached as he took the handle. He had to pull his hand back. There was a surging heat that burned him. As he was confused what was going on, he narrowed his gaze toward the door. That is when someone else opened from the other side. "Come in," the feminine voice said. He couldn't help his feet as he stepped inside. What Naruto saw shocked him though. The room was made for a baby. It had a crib, toys. What he saw over to the side was none other than his parents. But that was not the only thing there. There was a man standing beside them. A man that was lost to this world. He had horns, the Rinnegan eyes, silver hair. This was none other than the Sage of Six Paths himself, Hagoromo. As Naruto looked into the eyes of Minato, Kushina, and Hagoromo, they all looked towards him. "We need to talk," said Minato. "Yes, indeed we do," said Hagoromo. But guys, we end subscribe right here. If you want the next part to do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification as they posted. But I'm off for now. See you guys soon. Peace, guys.